The regression of music. I had this video planned for weeks to make, but as time went on, it evolved into something completely different. Why? Because good music started dropping. I'll be honest, in 2026, it had a really weird start. Then we had the ASAP Rocky drop. Then we had the Don Toliver drop. Then we had the J. Cole drop. And as we kind of went on week to week, I honestly feel like we've been actually getting some solid drops of music. However you feel about those three albums, I think those albums, in terms of how long they're lasting, has been very, very good for two of them. I don't know about ASAP for me personally, but for a lot of people, I feel like those three albums, at least, they've been able to have music that they can sit with. And that's kind of what I was going to be talking about in this video. People be dropping these albums, but they don't really last. And then maybe we get a couple albums for the most part, but it's so rare that we get a good album. We got to wait a long time, it feel like. Already in the first month of 2026, we pretty much have 3 genuine good albums. Now, the past 3 years of music for me personally had been rough, where we've had huge moments and rarely good albums. For the most part, the accepted quality of good music bar has been drastically lowered, in my opinion. Because I'll like an album, but then I'll see somebody call it a classic. Remember that word. But so far in 2026, like I said, good music has consistently dropped, in my opinion. And with March, honestly, to be on pace to keep this going. We got a couple different albums I've been honestly waiting on. It was 2 albums that came out this past weekend that was actually pretty good. So, honestly, and I wasn't even waiting on those albums. They were just pleasant surprises to me, personally. So why make this video still? Honestly, was going to scrap it. But, like I said, the word classic, this entire classic album discussion reminded me of my prior beliefs that what is accepted as a good album, the bar has drastically lowered. Now, who are the people having this discussion? I think a lot of this does go back. Like I said, in the past 3 years, we've had moments. But let's talk about what's really happened. In 2023, I think that was a very, very rough year for rap music. You had a couple good albums, in my opinion. One that you could genuinely argue was a classic, in my opinion, but for the most part, nothing really happened that year, in my opinion. You maybe had a couple good albums, but for the most part, it was a lot of emptiness with 2 albums, in my opinion, that probably filled in the gaps. Then you have 2024. This year was literally where it really, for a lot of people make the excuse that it was the Drake and Kendrick beef, but honestly, before that, it was building up to be a crazy year for music. Genuinely. The beef threw everything off after it. Now, to close the year, we ended up with those 2 albums that came out. But for the most part, the beef is the moment of the year. That overshadowed pretty much anything that happened in the year. Then we have 2025, where I do think we kind of was getting back to dropping a little bit more consistently and it being good music. But even this year, it still was kind of more to the other way of where we didn't really have the moments, but we did have the more occasional good albums. And then so far this year, like I said, I was damn near from the scrap it, because I honestly think 25 wasn't that bad, but 26 is also on to a good start. The reason why we are discussing this is because the classic album discussion. Now, what is the classic album discussion? It's really going on between 2 sides of the fan base. It's going on between, you got the Drake fans saying, well, really, it was first the Kendrick fans, for whatever reason, said Drake has no classics. I don't even know how we still at this point, but here we are. And then we have the Kendrick fans that said, or the Drake fans that said Kendrick has no classic albums, which I don't know how. I think that was just petty, because I don't think people believe that. I don't even think that's even possible to believe, because no matter who you are, I feel like Good Kid, Mad City has always gotten the credit it deserved as one of the best albums ever. Forget just rap, hip-hop is one of the best rap or best albums ever in general. Now, I think Drake has 2 of those you could really say 2, but people don't want to stamp it. And this is what I'm saying. And then the conversations just start going into whole different things. You got people that's arguing semantics, rather. You got people saying there's a difference between a classic and a masterpiece. That's genuinely just semantics, but okay. Where people trying to give like like absolute definitions of the two things when that's just an opinion. Then you got people that's talking about the differences in levels of a classic, where somebody was saying, how can you say Take Care is a classic and then look at Blueprint, Aquemini, Illmatic, and then look at Take Care? Now, me personally, one of those is a polar bear. It ain't Take Care. I ain't gonna get too much into that. But to be real, I will say, if we think about the music that was coming out in the early 2010s, it was a lot more classics coming out then than what's been coming out in the last 10 years. And that's where we are in terms of this video. Because now I'm seeing people say albums like GNX is a classic. Now, if we gonna do all that ignorance for Take Care and nothing was the same, how is GNX? Now, this is where I look at classics. I think that there's classics where you have that classic that no matter what, you can talk about genre, you can whatever. It is a classic no matter what. You like, it's not a hip hop classic, it's just a musical classic. No genre, just classic. Then you have genre defining classics. Then you have the cult fan base classics. And I think each one of those is a different tier. So when it comes to like the Drake fans being, I guess, offended, I'm a Drake fan. I don't know if Drake has beyond 3 classics. I think he has 2 for sure. If you wanted, that third one is debatable. A couple different ones you can say. A lot of people say he's got 5 or 6. When you go to that far, I think that's when we talking about the cult fan base classics. When you think about the Kendrick, a lot of Kendrick fans say every album Kendrick dropped is a classic. Now, I'm a Kendrick fan. I'm not a big Kendrick fan like I am a Drake fan. When I think about Kendrick, I think about it like this. Good Kid, Mad City, it would be that first tier of classic for me, where it's no argument against it. Like, no, you can't put a genre on it. It is just a classic. It is one of the best albums ever. It stands up to any album. Then you got an album like To Pimp a Butterfly, which, in my opinion, it's not on the same level of quality to me. So I wouldn't put it in that same level. But I think that the impact and all the stuff around it and the meaning behind it, I can understand it. And especially like how popular. There is another thing where I would say popular opinion classic. A lot of people hold that album so high that it has become a universal classic, if that makes sense. Then you got an album like Damn. I personally think Damn is more so of a cult fan base classic, where it's a good album, but I don't know how you can argue that one is a classic. A lot of people actually would say, if we saying any of the other albums, personally, I don't know if I would say that one is a classic. I would say good. Now, Mission Morale, that's one of my personal favorite albums by Kendrick Lamar. A lot of people don't really like that album. So that is a little tougher one. But I've even seen people try to say, like I said, there's a lot of people trying to say that every album he's dropped is a classic. And you can kind of make a case for it, I guess. Because Mission Morale is low-key probably my second favorite Kendrick album. Then we have GNX. Now, GNX, it has the commercial success. This is the thing that really confuses me. That Kendrick fans trying to say this is a classic because of the commercial success that it has. Where the quality of the album is just clearly the worst album he has. Now, it's just what it is, in my opinion. Like, if you put it up to any of those other 4 albums I just said, the quality is just nowhere near the same. So, if you want to do the success, I don't even see how we could even have the discussion. So, what I'm saying is, I don't know. I'm a little confused as if people are saying GNX quality is that level, because people also do believe GNX is really, really good. So, when people listen to GNX and they listen to Good Kid, do they see, or is that just a different tier? It's like how I'm seeing it. But I don't even think it's a classic. Now, if I was to do it for Drake, now of recent albums for Drake that would even be in the argument, C.O.B. I wouldn't say C.O.B. is a classic, but I think for the cult fan base, they would probably try to say that. Scorpion, if you want to do the critical acclaim and all that stuff, or the popular opinion or the popularity of an album, you would probably have to say Views. I don't know. Views is a tougher one. I would just leave it at Nothing Was the Same and Take Care. That's what I would leave it at. Now, if you want to argue against that, this ain't what the video is for. The point is, when it comes to the albums that's coming out now, a lot of these albums just ain't classics. Like, an album that came out last year that I would say is a classic, Hurry Up Tomorrow by The Weeknd. The album that I would argue is a classic, I don't know if I can say it stamped, is the Clips album. So I think the metric or the bar for what people actually deem a classic is just a lot lower now. I remember when people used to say, bro, hey man, you gotta wait 10 years for an album to be deemed a classic. I'm seeing people say 2 years is long enough, you know? So I don't know, bro. I'm a little confused at how this classic word really works. So what I do is just pretty much do it on my scale and do it off my opinion. So I think Hurry Up Tomorrow is just on a different level of quality. If you see my Weeknd tier list, you understand. But yeah, when it comes to these albums, if we do this decade so far, I don't know if it's been 5 classics. Honestly. Especially if we just do rap and hip hop. It definitely ain't been 5 to me. So, in my opinion, I just think the quality of music has just lowered. I guess you could also say this kind of going into where people say it's not a new face of rap. We got all, like, you seen the little new marketing scheme that Spotify doing, where they had the new faces of rap. They did Baby Keem, Doechii, and Lil Tecca. And then I seen some other people saying that how they the new leaders of rap, but they ain't lead nobody. So then I was like, I would probably just say the new faces of rap or the new leaders of rap is probably guys like Cardi and Travis. But I'm gonna be honest, those guys are kind of old, especially Trav. Travis is in his 30s. Like, he ain't that far off from Drake and Kendrick age. I would definitely say Cardi. You probably have to throw in YB. People don't want to say that, but you probably gotta throw him in there. You may have to throw in Lil Baby. But just think about the quality of music the next leaders of raps are compared to the Drakes, the Kendricks, the Coles. You could even throw in like the one before that where you thinking about Kanye and the Eminems. It's just the quality at the top is just not to the same level. It's just what it is. Now another really funny one was low-key Future, where I'm a big Future guy. I seen somebody say Future got more classics than J. Cole, Drake, and Kendrick combined. So it's literally like, I don't know, bro. I think at the end of the day, everybody got their biases and had their preferences. But the word classic is kind of like getting thrown around right now. Like how if you think about sports, when it comes to like draft prospects, everybody a generational prospect. You know what I'm saying? It just get thrown around where like the word just kind of get desensitized. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I just think music, it's been going down a downhill spiral. But this year, I kind of disagree. I think this year we may have a really good year for music. Genuinely, like you gotta think about it. Drake he's primed to drop. Kendrick ain't dropped since 2024. He probably dropped too. He damn near dropped the same day as Drake. Imagine that. That'd be a crazy moment. I seen that Weeknd back in the studio. I thought Hurry Up Tomorrow was supposed to be his last album. So I'm a little uneasy about that. I'm gonna be real. But for the most part, I seen Rihanna. It's supposed to be a lot of people dropping. So I just wanted to sit here and talk about this. This was a video I had planned to make. I had to get a video out on this channel eventually. So here we are. But yeah, if y'all do want more, like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff out the way. We're gonna get more coming. Further ado, man, it's your boy Fitz. I'm out of here.
Tell them to bring me my money. Yeah!